Guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining me today. I'm in the third row seat of my Tesla Model Y long range. This is my car. I've had this for about a year, but we ordered it with this third row seat. You can see I have the hatch up here. This is the second row. I'm in the third row. I want to talk about this option because it's now gone down in price. All right, guys, if it looks like I'm cramped back here, yes, indeed I am. I'm not a very big adult, but this place is mainly meant for kids. Now, back in August 2021, when I ordered this car, the option for the third row seat was $3,000, and at the time I thought that was okay. We had just sold our Model X. We had a Model X, a 2016 Model X that had the 6 seats, and I have 4 kids. My wife and I, we have 4 kids, so we needed something that we could potentially all fit in. And so the fact that the Model Y did have the third row seat, had potentially could fit 7 people in here, was a pretty good prospect, and that's why we opted for it. At $3,000, we thought, well, okay, I guess we'll do it. You know, we sold our Model X for a pretty good price, and the Y is still cheaper than the X, so it made sense to do that at the time. Now, fast forward to early of 2023. First of 2023, Tesla starts lowering the prices of the base prices of the car, but they started increasing the cost for the third row seat. For example, they raised it up to $4,000. And I did a video a little while back when it raised up to $4,000 that it was not worth it at all at $4,000 because it's small, it's cramped, it's hard to get in and out of. Really, it's just meant for kids, like small kids. And really only kids that are, like, they don't need a booster anymore, but they're not in a car seat, they're not in a booster, but yet their head still has to be below the pillar and not touching the glass. And so I have a couple kids, like I have a 7-year-old. He doesn't ride in a booster. He just rides in the back. He'll ride in the back here. And then my 11-year-old daughter, she'll also occasionally ride back here. But it's kind of cramped for her. So really, there's kind of a small window of age that kids ride back here and could potentially be comfortable. Now, kids, they can do fine in confined spaces. So it's fine that they can sit back here. As far as adults sitting back here, though, I have the second row seat pushed forward, and I'm not even sitting regularly. I'm just sitting sideways in this seat, this area here. This is very like cramped back here. Adults are going to have a real hard time back here. I have a hard time even getting in and out of here. So I don't think it's the best option if you consistently need a third row seat. But if you occasionally need one, it's a pretty good deal. So now we're in August of 2023, and the cost for the third row seat on a Model Y long range is now $2,500. So Tesla lowered the price all the way down $1,500 from its max price of $4,000 down to $2,500. That really is a pretty good deal for this third row seat. Previously, I suggested that if you don't need the third row, if you don't need a 6th and a 7th seat in this car, if 5 seats is enough for all the passengers you'll ever take around, you don't need to pay for the extra cost of this. But with it being $2,500, it kind of makes a more compelling argument if you're on the fence of whether you need it. Let's say you have maybe 3 kids and maybe you take that occasional friend along with you. You might need that third row seat might come in handy occasionally. For example, we don't use, even though I have 4 kids, my wife and I have 4 kids, and there's 6 of us in our family, we rarely take this car, all 6 of us, when we go somewhere. Mainly my wife drives us around. It's her just taking kids, running errands, commuting, things like that, which this does great for. So really we're only using the third row seat on a rare occasion because sometimes my kids do complain about sitting in the back seat. We have another vehicle that we use for all of us if we're going on a road trip or if we're all going somewhere. We'll use we have a GMC Yukon XL, like a suburban size vehicle that fits us all really good. But I would say that the third row seat is good if you occasionally need to use it. Like if you have, let's say you have 4 or 5 kids and you constantly need to use this back row seat, it's going to be a challenge. The kids are going to have to get in through the trunk here. The access from the second row is not that easy. There's not a lot of leg room. The second row has to be pushed up all the way in order to have any kind of leg room in this third row seat. So it cramps the second row passengers. Third row is also very cramped. So guys, Model Y is a very small vehicle to begin with. It's almost a foot shorter than my Model S, so it's a short vehicle to begin with. It's a small vehicle. It's actually really impressive that they're able to get a third row seat in this car. They've really maximized the space that's available to this to be able to get a third row seat. So it is impressive that they have it. It's cool that there's an option like that occasional time when I need to take another kid with me, or we need to all 6 of us go somewhere. It's nice to have it. And I think at $2,500, it's probably a worthwhile option because it's something that cannot be retrofitted after the fact. For example, the tow hitch is something that you can add on. If you don't order it at the time you order the car, you can add it on after the fact. Something you go to the service center, they can add that on. Or for example, the wheels, the upgraded wheels on a Model Y long range are a $2,000 option. Those are something you can upgrade down with different wheels. You can get someone that's taken these off. That's something you can change after the fact. So I would say the two things that you really want to consider if you're ordering a Model Y long range is 7-seat option and then just getting the color that you want. Because those two options you really can't change after the fact. Let me show you how access looks and works in the third row seat. So this is on the passenger side of the vehicle. This is the second row on the passenger side of the vehicle. And under the seat there's a bar, just like what you're used to on other cars. You can see there's a bar right here. You lift that up and it moves back and forth. So you kind of saw from the comparison that both seats are moved all the way forward. So you can see the leg room that you have in the second row when these are moved all the way forward. That's really where the seats have to be in order to have any kind of leg room in the third row seat. Now to get access to the third row, there's a couple ways. The common way that we use is we just flip down the center this whole centerpiece will fold down and the kids will just climb through there. The other way, and this actually went out on us, and this is something that we just got fixed under warranty on this car. This is the only warranty issue that we've had in a year. Let me see if I can demonstrate this here. All right, with the seat all the way, it can be in any position, forward or backwards. But if I push this lever right here, all you do is just push this forward, and then you push the chair forward and lift, and it pops up forward, so you have access to the third row. So if I push forward, and okay, you see how it popped up like that? This is the only issue I had with this car in over a year, and I took it into the service center. It's been a couple weeks ago, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we fixed there's a sensor underneath here that was broken or something," and in the notes they're like, "You need to be more careful with having your feet underneath the seat." I'm like, "What are you talking about? You're going to design a car, look how narrow this is. This is like the size of my hand almost, that someone's supposed to be able to put their feet in, and they're saying I have to be careful with putting my feet right here because it's going to hit a switch or a sensor and it's going to disable this." So this seat mechanism wasn't flipping up for, it probably wasn't working for 4 or 5 months. We just barely took it in. It's now working, but this is a way that you can get into the third row seat. And then you can see over on this side, I mean, you've got barely my hand's width or length in legroom right here, which for a small kid, for a 9, 10, 11, maybe a 12-year-old kid, it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it's squished, but they can cope with it just fine. You can see you do have cup holders, and it does have two, it's hard to see, it's a little dark there. It does have 2 USB-C charging outlets here. So you do have charging, you have cup holders back here. The other side does open up as well. So when I left that down, it goes to the forward position, and then I have to lift the bar up to move that forward there. You can kind of see this is all the way back, that one there's all the way forward. This is kind of like the 40%, that's the 60% side. You can see this is the bigger side that has the backrest here. This area here, there's a lever behind this middle seat that will allow that to come down. That's how we've traditionally been letting the kids get to the back seat. Is you can see the switch, you can see the little lever here. Just lift up on that, and it drops this down, and then the kids can climb through there like that. The other way we allow access to the third row is, we only have 4 kids, so we don't need the 7th seat. So what we'll do is we will leave one of these down. So what we'll do is so we'll have only one side of the seat move forward, this one moved back. So I'll have my taller son, who's 14, sit here, my 7-year-old son, 13-year-old son sit there, and then my 11-year-old daughter will sit here where she has a little more leg room right here. But this is an easy way to get in and out as well, just in through the trunk area, and to be able to access that right there. When we went on a road trip, this is how we used it. We left this down. We could stack luggage here, could stack luggage there. We've got storage there, and then we have the front trunk as well. But a comment that I keep getting is from people saying, "I would never let my kids sit back here. It's so dangerous. They're so close to the back. They're going to get crushed. They're going to get killed." Guys, let me show you something here. We have behind the seat, there's a big empty cavern right here that's a nice crumple zone. But this is no different than a minivan. I don't know, minivans have this same setup where they have this big, deep kind of storage area here, and it's almost, I would say, close to the same size, maybe a little bit smaller than a minivan, but a kid sitting back here is really no different than them sitting in the third row seat of a minivan as far as the space from the back bumper to the seat. So I really don't think it's a concern with where the seat is in relation to the back bumper, the back hatch. As long as they fit in here, their head's not touching the ceiling, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine in the back here. All right, just for reference, I'm going to show you how I kind of get in here. So, you know, it's got about this much room. I'm going to squeeze into here. Oh. Okay. All right, here we go. Here we go. So I can get back there, guys. It's not comfortable. I've never ridden back there. I refuse to ride back here. Some of my older kids do as well, but like I said, kids can fit back here fine. I think it's a better deal at $2,500 though. At $4,000, I wasn't a fan of it. At $4,000, I bought it at $3,000, and you know, because we kind of needed it. But I think it's a pretty good deal at $2,500, especially because you can use it. Now, it is only available on the long range trim. So if you wanted the standard or the performance version, you can't get the 7-row, the 7-seater. Only the Model Y long range can you use it with. So when you're done with the third row, they do fold down pretty easily. It is electronically released right here, so they just down. I wish they were electronically lifted up, because you have to have these seats move forward a little bit, and then you have to reach over here and then grab and pull these up. So that's not bad. You just have to make a long reach. But they do fold flat pretty easily. Makes still for a good storage area when you're not using them. Guys, the Model Y is a great vehicle. I mean, the size of it is fantastic for driving around town. We've had a couple bigger vehicles in the past. We've had a couple minivans. We currently have like a longer, bigger SUV. Driving this thing is just so much fun, because it's small, it's compact, it handles great. Acceleration is great. The seating is great too. Normally we're using it in the 5-seat configuration with these seats moved all the way back, so that gives the kids that are riding back there the maximum amount of foot room, foot space, leg room area. It's nice to have the 7-seat option when we use it. We don't use the third row option that often. It's mainly just there if we happen to take this, all of us are going somewhere, or you know, my wife's running all the kids somewhere and they're bringing a couple friends along, they throw them in the back there and they get along just fine. So I think if you're looking at a Model Y right now and you're thinking, do we get 7-seat? Do we just do the 5-seat? I think you won't regret getting the third row seat. There'll be a few times where you'll be glad that you have it, and it's going to come in handy, and it's come in handy for us. So at $2,500, I don't think it's that big of an investment that you're going to regret it. I think that's probably appropriately priced for what you get with this car. At $4,000, I wasn't a fan of it, and now that the Model Y is almost as cheap as it ever was, really makes the Model Y long range 7-seat a great value, a great option if you're looking at one. Guys, well, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you found this informational and helpful when looking at a Model Y. If you're looking at 7 or 5-seat version, hopefully this gives you some information on that. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, use my referral link if you're ordering a Tesla. There's incentives and bonuses if you use a referral link. So whether you use mine or someone else's, I'll leave mine down below so you have that option. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.